Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Just last Friday, the Manzanita area suffered a horrible tornado, and then today, that unexpected explosion. And of course, we're concerned about the people and their property, but what about their animals? Here to show us how to plan ahead and to protect and prepare for our animals and pets, we have preparedness expert Joe Becker. Now, Joe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm very interested in learning about all of these wonderful gadgets and stuffed animals that you have here. I mean, are we supposed to prepare by having stuffed animals, or are these just for show?
No, they're props. They're props. It makes it easy to talk about.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I know that everybody's concerned about people, but sometimes we forget about the animals. And just today, we were learning that people were looking for their pets in today's explosion. So what can we do to prepare and protect our animals?
Well, there's a lot of reasons to prepare for animals. First of all, for me, it is all about the critters. I want to make sure the animals that depend on us, you know, I'm ready to help them when they're mine or they're in harm's way. But a lot of people don't want to think about preparedness in general. It's a big, scary subject. It can be overwhelming. You don't want to be seen as the doomsdayer who's got, you know, a bunker full of supplies.
Right.
But if you talk to folks in your environment, or those folks you work with, the folks in your neighborhood, or you think to yourself, who am I concerned about? My loved ones, my critters, big or little, my elders, my children, and prepare for them. Most people will then begin a snowball effect of preparing for themselves. So if you think about, you know, you've got a dog and you need food and water for Fido, if at some point people will begin to think, I don't want to have to drink Fido's water in a disaster. I better get some for myself. And that can begin to get the process. So for me, it's kind of a twofold win-win approach.
Okay. Yeah. Thinking about someone or something else will then help you also think about it for yourself.
Statistically, people will do for others before they do for themselves in a big, scary subject
Isn't
like
that the
emergency
truth?
preparedness.
Isn't that the truth? That's why on the airplanes they tell us, put your mask on first, because we won't. We'll think about everybody else.
That's part of it. That's part of it, yes.
See, Joe, I know you know a little something, something. Okay, so show us how we can prepare. What do you have here?
Well, if you haven't done any preparedness, start with the basics. If you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you start with what you know you need to need. You need water, you need food, and then you go up to shelter, etc. So for your animals, just like for yourself, prepare some food, some water, depending on what kind of animal you have, and then also ways to secure and transport the animal, again, depending on what species and how many, what sizes you have. Also ways to deal with any you know, the food goes in and the water goes in, you need to deal with what comes out.
Oh, there's that. I wasn't thinking about that.
And then if your animals required medication. So that gives you the basics. Food, water, medicine, transportation, shelter. If you're evacuating, how do you contain the animal and get to where you're going safely and then house them there?
Okay.
So that's a good place to start.
That's a good place to start, but how long should you plan for?
Good question. And a question I get a lot, but I always hand it back to the person. So a little bit of homework.
Okay.
It depends to me on the individual household. What kind of animals do you have? What are their conditions? How many do you have? And then what is typical for that animal? So let's say you've got a dog. Take a look at what that dog eats and drinks on a typical day, an average day, and then multiply that by how many days you want to prepare, what you think is reasonable and you think is important for you to prepare. So emergency management messaging says prepare for at least 3 days, 72 hours. That's a good place to start. The emergency management industry says make that 172 days at a minimum.
So 172 days?
Sorry, 172 hours, excuse me. Days would be great,
I was about to say, we need a bunker, that's for sure.
That's right. Well, that's kind of the long and the short of it. Yes.
Okay.
So 172 hours, yeah, so a week, or a couple weeks, or a month. So you can start small and decide based on your personal budget, discretionary income, your storage capacity, what you can physically carry, other priorities you have in your life. You know, start small and decide, you know, calculate by daily usage what your animals need.
Okay.
And I just really don't give a stock answer to that question, because my diabetic kitty probably could have outdrunk, you know, somebody's Labrador Retriever or what have you. So it really is an individual assessment and decision.
And then where to store these items?
Well, first start with something small. If you're just starting out, gather a little bit of food and water. That 72-hour kit might be a fanny pack, might be a backpack, might be a rolling suitcase, something you can carry. And as you expand from there, whatever works in your space, your budget, and what you can, you know, physically carry if you're actually going to evacuate with it.
Wow. All right, so now you have a flyer down here.
I do.
Tell us about this flyer.
The flyer is one of my favorite and one of my most popular prep tips, and I love it because it's good for good days and bad days. So bad day would be a wildfire going through the area, or an earthquake hits the whole northwest west coast. A good day is nobody else is having a problem, but your pet or your horse has gotten loose. Someone has left the door open or the gate open, and you personally have an emergency looking for your animal. Or a bad day is earthquake hit and your fencing and your home is compromised, and that's why the animal is out. If you prepare a lost flyer now, you don't need to think about it in the moment when you're scrambling to look. You can hit the streets and start distributing. If you're going to create a flyer, get all of your data, your statistics, the information about the animal, your contact information. Be sure to put multiple pictures of the animal that are current, different angles, a full body shot. Be sure to include a picture of you with all household members with the animal to help prove ownership and identity.
Ah, that's a good one, because anybody could come claiming that that's their kitty or that's their Fido or Zelda. And,
Zelda, awfully cute,
Zelda.
yes.
and then, yeah, who knows?
Right, right. And then don't stop with the flyer. Prepare it, have a digital file, think redundancy. So store it on a memory stick, on your portable device, in the cloud, what have you. Print at least a couple master copies that you could photocopy if you needed it. Or, better yet, go ahead and if you want to spend a few dollars, print a stack of them that you could distribute quickly and store all those things in a Ziploc or a watertight container in your Go kit. So you're ready to go if it happens on a good day or a bad day.
Yeah. So basically, this is what my dad used to say. If you stay ready, then you don't have to get ready.
I love the motto, prepare for the worst, expect the best. I'm not a doomsdayer, but let's be prepared.
Yeah, we should be. And with you, we will be. Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. For more on Joe's tips and information about Joe's Pets in Disaster program, head over to our website at KATU.com.